Right, week 2 has come to an end, and now we start week 3. But to kind of recap on week 2, I'm just going to run through every game here. Iran played decently, they scored twice. Senegal got whooped, I did expect more from them. Norway and Iraq, that says everything about itself, which was 4-1. Messi scored a hat-trick against Algeria, and you know what? Despite the fact I'm a Ronaldo fan, I gotta say, congratulations on getting that hat-trick, and congratulations for having a team that backs you. Because right now, that's something that Portugal does not have, and if they do, it is in question at the moment, and I did make a video about that I'm gonna post soon. 3-0, I think I saw the first one, where he shoots it and the keeper goes flying, but he still can't catch it. Un golazo completely. Yeah, that's the only one I watched. Actually, no, I watched the entire game, actually. But I was playing FC26, so I just remember the other two goals vaguely, but I think the Algeria goal was not offside. I think that the player who received the ball was in legal position. I don't think he was offside. Anyways, 4-1 to Jordan. Austria. It was really close until it wasn't. After that own goal, they just fell apart, but I think that it could have been a tie because the own goal was in the second half at the 76th minute. If not for that own goal, I think Jordan could have escaped with a tie. Because Austria really was not looking very good until that own goal and till Jordan fell apart. But they fought until they just couldn't. Now, I honestly could talk about this game forever, but Portugal and Congo drew. Did I expect this? After looking at the lineup, I kind of did, because when the striker has a back three on him, it's a 3v1. Then the two defensive mids drop. It's like a 5-on-1 for one guy. So I didn't expect Ronaldo to do anything when the lineup came out. And somehow, for whatever reason, he's getting all the blame. João Neves had a good goal, but honestly, I think he could have performed better. There were a bit over 100 back passes in the midfield, so I really don't think it was all that good. I think the man of the match was no one on our team, like no one for Portugal, because Congo, they outperformed us. They played better. They defended better. And yeah, all of Portugal ghosted this game. Neto made a good cross, but that's about it. No one showed up, really. Everyone ghosted. Ronaldo couldn't do anything because he didn't get any service. Bruno just was not there. He tried, but nada pasó. Vitinha just passed to the side, never forward. The center backs really were not all that good. They tried, but they couldn't just get the ball for the goal, that cross. But it is what it is. It's 1-1. I see a lot of people trashing Ronaldo, but do remember that Argentina lost 2-1 in the World Cup opener against Saudi Arabia. And they still won the tournament. And maybe the same thing happens here. England 4-1 to Croatia. Honestly, I didn't think it would be by this much, but they fucking cooked them. 4-2. I don't know why they subbed off Modric. Maybe it's a muscular injury, but 4-2. It's a sad game for Croatia. But Jude Bellingham is just on fire. I think he got a brace, did he not? No, it was Kane who got the brace. But Bellingham scoring right after halftime. Ghana and Panama. I was on a call with my psychiatrist during this game, and he watches the World Cup too. He watches soccer. So I kind of had the phone facing towards me and I had the TV on. He knew exactly what I was doing, but it was 0-0 the entire game until the very last minute. And you know what? I can't even blame the keeper because the center backs were not tracking, and also the attackers. Panama was dominating an attack for a lot of the game, and they just didn't finish. But it could have been a lot more than just 3 goals for Panama if the attack was awake. Colombia smashed Uzbekistan. I think that game kind of opens up the future games for Uzbekistan. Like, everyone now knows how to play them, right? So I used to complica a little bit because now people will see, or other players and other managers will see how these guys defend, and they'll try to expose that the same way Colombia did. So for them, ahí se complica. But they did play good, and by that I mean they played with heart. When a team goes into the World Cup after a while, or has a higher chance and they have better players, they play with more heart. And it was actually fun to watch them despite the fact they lost 3-1. And I actually wanted them to score another one because they deserved to score another one because they played with heart. South Africa tied Czechia. Switzerland smashed Bosnia. I don't even know how that happened. And the Canada game against Qatar, I don't even know how that happens. Jonathan Davis, I think his name is. He's played for Juventus. He barely ever scores for Juventus, at least last season, right? And I got so tired of him because I didn't know him, right? I just know he moved to Juventus and he hasn't really scored. But him getting a hat-trick here, I was like, damn. And I don't mean in a negative way, I mean like, I was surprised this guy got a hat-trick. But you know what? Good for him. He played well. He got his hat-trick. And there really is no critiquing that performance. Someone did break their leg there. I don't know how long they'll be out for. I'll assume 6 months, maybe 8. But yeah, 6-0. That's an incredible scoreline. Then 1-0 to Mexico. I didn't even want any team in that game to win. I just wanted them to tie. Maybe 2-2, 1-1, doesn't matter. And you know, I'm starting to see the same thing from other people. Because like the Koreans in Mexico, they were so chill that they didn't even want to see them lose. You know what? How many other times does that happen in football, especially in a World Cup, when you don't want to win a game and you actually want to tie it? That's incredible. And now I'll say this, and I never knew I would be saying something like this. The U.S. men's national team has put up the best performances in the World Cup tournament this year. Up to this moment. The 21st of June. They've played the best ball. They've played the best ball. They have the fastest wingers. They have the fastest fullbacks. They're very attacking minded. They remind me of how Hansi Flick plays with attacking fullbacks. And on counters, they only have 3 at the back defending. It's a really offensive tactic and style of play, but it gets results. And they broke down Australia's defensive line, which I found very surprising when I saw it at first, but they played them really, really good. Morocco beat Scotland 1-0, honestly. They scored in the opening minute. Un fucking golazo. And that was it. But Morocco were so much closer to scoring more goals, and they just couldn't finish. They were just unlucky. Because Scotland really did not look like they were in it. They could have tied a lot of times. Ugh. Sorry. They could have tied a lot. But they were also unlucky. So it's just one of those games where no one's really on. And everyone just died after the first goal. But it was a golazo. 3-0 for Brazil, honestly. I don't know how to critique that performance. Who were the goal scorers again? Cunha and Vinicius. Fucking Cunha is incredible. All I don't like that Ancelotti's doing, all I don't like that he's doing is that the only striker left is Endrick, and he's playing Cunha instead. And Cunha isn't even a striker, he's an attacking mid. He's like a false nine golazo. Egypt scores the tie against New Zealand. That's insane. At the hour mark, almost, they score the tie. I don't think that's enough to save them, though. I'm not sure if it is. But New Zealand have been the dominant side for basically the whole game, so I think that this lead won't last for long. If they tie this game, I think Egypt goes in. I'm not sure, though. But who knows? There's 60 minutes left. What I don't like is that Ancelotti's using Cunha for a striker, but Endrick is a striker. He just doesn't use Endrick for whatever reason, right? But I think Cunha would be better playing behind the striker in a 4-1-2-3, because he's got the striker and the winger to play against, or to play with, and he has another 10 next to him, which would be Lucas Paquetá. And I think that would be a more dangerous front five. But basically, I think he's playing whatever gets results. And I know I'm kind of talking about these games a little slower than I wanted to, but stick with me a little bit. For a bit longer. Paraguay beats Turkey 1-0. That is insane. Because Turkey has not scored one goal this World Cup. They have not scored one. They lost 2-0 the first game and 1-0 now, and they'll get smashed by the U.S. national team. 0 points, and I don't think they escape with anything against the U.S. men's national team. They're very bad attacking, and they're very bad defending, and they're very bad defending counterattacks. So I don't think that Turkey has a chance at all. They have so many names and so many star players, but they can't do anything. Like, they don't function correctly. To me, I think that is insane. Sweden was hammered the way they hammered Tunisia. That tells you everything. Germany made the comeback against Ivory Coast. I wanted Ivory Coast to win because they were the more dominant side. Damn. My bad. They were the more dominant side throughout the game. I did want them to win. They did deserve to win. They played with heart for the entire 90. They did not deserve to lose this game. Where does that put them on their table, though? They still qualify directly. Well, it's not bad. I didn't think they deserved to lose, though. Now, despite being hammered by Germany, Curaçao ties this game. And this is, I think, the first time they qualify for the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. And even though they tied and they don't advance and they're knocked out, everyone was celebrating that they competed in the first place. they didn't even play bad. They did deserve to score, and they deserved to score on multiple occasions. But the striker, and especially the striker they subbed on, with respect of course, simply was just not there. He ghosted. He was always pushing the center backs, but he was never tracking where the ball would go when the through ball was sent, intended to go to him. But they did deserve to score many times. Then Japan, 4-0 to Tunisia. I was up watching this game till 11. Un partidazo. These Japanese guys, I don't know who they play next, but they play Sweden next. I think that there are a lot of dark horse teams in this World Cup. Japan is one of them. South Korea is one of them. The U.S. men's national team was one of them. Canada's one of them for sure. But now they're not a dark horse because they just cooked completely. But it's those teams that you don't expect to play good that are going to play the best. Now, today, this is where I really wanted to talk. Spain, 4-0 to Saudi Arabia. I'm not even from Saudi Arabia, but I do watch this league. And I am disappointed with this manager, and he was the manager for Al-Khaliq. I think his name is Donis. He is Greek, and he's very defensive-minded, but there's a reason why this guy got sacked from Al-Khaliq. Because he was a mid-table team, mid to high-table team, but this guy never knew how to keep a score. He only won 20 games in 2 years, and he lost 30. He tied 16. This guy, even when he gets leads, he bottles them. Like when they played Uruguay, they looked very comfortable in the first half. Because Saudi Arabia is an attacking team. They have an aggressive center back. They have an aging winger who's still pretty fast. They have Kano. They have Nawaf, which should have started this game, but he's playing defensively with an attacking team, and that's very stupid. This guy has this guy was the manager for a Saudi League team for a couple years, and this guy showed up like he didn't know what he was doing. And to be fair, he was employed only a couple days ago. But this guy showed that he has no idea what he's doing. What else do I want to say? For Yamal, I would have started Nawaf instead from Al Nassr, because this guy, he pockets, I guess, or neutralizes top-class wingers, and he's done so throughout the entire league, the entire season. He's really fast, he's good offensively and defensively, he plays right back and left back, and he also has other full-back options that would have worked better than the ones he chose. If he played a back four, put an attacker, and started that way, Sabinov Lahami would have protected the net better, because Lahami does not play a deep line. This guy cannot keep the defensive line. He always drops deeper. And you could see that a lot in this game. And Al-Tambakti and Al-Amri, they are players who know how to keep a line. Lahami doesn't. And I think that's what bottled them 2 goals or 3 goals. Because a lot of them were tap-ins, and a lot of them was because there's always a player moving here when the winger is here. And that is that leaves him onside for the goal. Golazo. Salah just scored. He scored the lead for this one. 67th minute. 67th minute. Why I do that? That's not even funny. That's almost a dead meme. We've been on that for 2 years. 2-1 for Egypt. Mohamed Salah scores the second goal to complete the comeback, and we'll see what happens next. I didn't think they would score this fast, but es un mundial y es el fútbol. You don't know what's gonna happen. Anyways, back to the Saudi Arabia game. They should have done more. They should have made a better lineup, because if you remove Lahami and put another striker like Al Hamdan, the 9 has another 9 to play with. And Al Hamdan also plays attacking mid, so he'll drop and create a play for the 9. And Donis did not analyze that because Spain is so offensive, they leave a lot of gaps, and they have no one defending when they get countered. You see, if you analyze the game, there's always 2 defending. And when they're going up against 2, one of them will drop, and that's when Al Hamdan would put the through ball for the 9 to go run and score. So yeah, basically, they made a whole bunch of mistakes. They made a lot of things that didn't work. They made a whole bunch of errors that really could have been avoided very easily, but it is what it is. This guy was only employed like 5 days ago, a week ago, so despite that fact, you could still blame him because he's been playing in the league and had no idea who he was playing. So 4-1, he deserved it. The players did not, but you can't make a lineup and have an attacker defending. So, he deserved it, the players did not, but it's a learning experience for him, I guess. And I think at this point you gotta sack him, because he's only disappointed with his own choices for the 90. And 3-0 at halftime, too. That's crazy. Iran tied Belgium. Honestly, I think Iran, they could have done better. They had a lot of chances. I think that Emi's goal is onside. I got the notification that they scored, and then I got the notification that it was offside. But watching the play, because I watched the play, not the close-up for the offside line. Watching the play, he does not look offside. It would have been offside if the guy behind the wall got the ball. But that Emi was on the ball and moved with it after the striker kicked it, or the free kick taker kicked it. So that should have been on, and they should have taken the lead and won by 1, especially after Belgium got that red card. Uruguay tied Cabo Verde. Uruguay has been shit. They're always in over their heads. And I'll say, excuse that banging if you guys heard it. I don't know if you guys did, because my phone has like background noise cancellation or something like that. But it was pretty loud, so if you heard it, my apologies. Uruguay, I'll say the part out loud, they played like shit. They've been playing like shit. Araujo scores 2 back-to-back World Cup goals in 2 back-to-back games. The Sporting winger / attacking fullback, he's been the best player of the team so far. Low-key, he should be captained because he puts in effort. He makes runs. There's no moment in the game where you don't see him trying to score. This guy's always running, always tracking, always running into the box, creating chances, looking for the finish. He should be captained because, you know what? That's exactly what Uruguay needs. They need to look towards someone who's doing all of these things, because then they follow. And that kind of is what happened throughout this game. Once they got scored on, everyone fell apart, but this guy kept running. He kept running, and they ended up scoring. And then, because they kept on running, they scored the second one and made a comeback before halftime. And then they got scored on. I'm gonna make a separate video about that in a bit, probably tomorrow. And I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about this game in particular because there was no reason why we should have bottled this game. So I'll talk about that in a separate video. And right now, with 17 minutes left, New Zealand have to come back to Egypt, because if not, se complica, because New Zealand is at the bottom of the table and Egypt is at the top. New Zealand have to at least tie to advance, because if they tie, they would go into third place and they would push Egypt down and knock them out. So with 15 minutes left right now, they gotta get themselves together and score a tie or make the comeback. Probably not gonna happen because Egypt is now cruising, but that's been it for now. I'll probably make that Uruguay video tomorrow, and then I'll talk about the rest of the games tomorrow as well, because tomorrow I think there's a few games that I do want to catch tomorrow. Tomorrow there's a couple games. Qatar and Bosnia, not very interested in that one. I want to watch Switzerland and Canada. I want to watch Brazil and Scotland. And I do want to watch South Korea and South Africa, because those South Koreans know how to play ball. Wait, no, shoot, that's the wrong one. Tomorrow, Argentina and Austria play. I'm not watching that one. France play Iraq and Senegal play Norway. I want to watch Senegal play Norway more than any other game, because Norway, that's as much of a good team they are, I need Senegal to go through because I want Sadio Mane to make a run in this World Cup. I'm not sure if you guys watch Sadio Mane, but this guy deserves basically everything. This guy, he's won everything with Liverpool, but internationally, he deserves to go far in this tournament. This guy, even when his whole team kind of backed out from the AFCON, I think it was the AFCON, this guy called all of them and told them to come back out. And I think they won that game too. Can't remember at the top of my head, but it's the one where they beat Morocco. And yeah, this guy's mentality, Sadio Mane, an incredible player, and I do think he deserves to go through. I think that if we look at the table, Senegal, I don't think qualify for third place, mostly because they don't have points, but if they tie Norway, or they score a couple goals on them and beat them, which I'll be honest is unlikely, they could go through, and I wish they do, because Sadio Mane does deserve to advance in the World Cup, because he's that player that does absolutely everything for his country, and he does deserve to go through. That's been it for now, and see you next week.